Hello, this is Sandra Biliski with Framework Math, and I am here with some big news I have not announced yet on Facebook, so I wanted to come and talk about the final book in my 5-volume workbook series is ready. It is here in my hands, and it is available in the shop. So I wanted to give a just really brief look inside what's in this book, as well as give you guys a heads up about what's the next phase with Framework Math. So first of all, this book is about 210 pages. The first half of it approximately goes over division within 100. So every one of these books starts off with getting a really solid foundation in the facts, 1 through 10 or within 100. So as with all of the books, because we're keeping it super consistent to help kids build a large picture view and not get lost in the details about what math is, we're using 10 frames and a Rec and Rec. I know this picture is backwards on the screen, but the real books are forwards. So as we're working on division, we're carrying everything we've learned about subitizing and being able to instantly see groups of numbers on a Rec and Rec or in a 10 frame, and using that to kind of work backwards with what we know. So we do a lot with fact families, working backwards from multiplication. But that's one aspect of what we do. And I think that's kind of the main thing that people think about when they think about division is the opposite of multiplication. But this book gets into it in a lot deeper way. And the key thing about this book are what I call benchmark number tables. So we're going to build everything we need to know about division all the way up through as big as you want numbers to get on these benchmark numbers. And that means we're going to get really comfortable with numbers 1, 10, and then 5 as half of 10. And then we're scaling that up to 100, 1,000, and all the halfway points, which are multiples of 5. And that turns long division, everything from simple division up through long division, into something that's very simple to almost do as mental math. Once the numbers get really big and there's remainders, you'll need to break out pencil and paper. But there, you can go really far with this, these concepts that we're going to do in here with mental math. Another key element of this book are the games that are in it. So the games are not just games to practice fluency, but they're games to really help you build a conceptual understanding of how all of this works. So there's simple games in here for the division within 100, but the key game takes about 10 pages to set up here, is building out, essentially you're building out long tile hallways, and you have a given number of tiles in your pile, and you can lay out, let's say, 13 tiles per row. So you want to see if you have 1,560 tiles in your tile pile, and you can do 13 per row. This game helps you really visualize the most efficient way to think about that, and then how there's several rounds of that game. You have a record sheet to keep track of what you're doing. And this makes the long division algorithm not something very strange and hard to memorize, but it makes it a process that you would literally think through as you're dividing things into groups. Okay? So the game lays the foundation for the final stage of the book, and then everything progresses very gradually and gently to the point where you're doing pencil and paper, and then quite often just to mental math, because kids will have such a good grasp of it. So let me get to a page. So we'll work through the long division algorithm in steps that match the game. And all of it, as you can tell, is based on our 10 frames and their understanding of benchmark numbers. So it reduces the need for any of those random scratches on the side of your paper if you've done long division the way I learned how to do it, where you're just randomly guessing and trying to think backwards about multiplication. It eliminates that. It eliminates the need to fill up the edges of your paper with multiplication guesses as you're doing this. And it gives you a framework, like everything in this book, for thinking about how to do division based on simple numbers so that you're never overthinking the process. You're always only working with multiples of 1, scaling up multiples of 10, the halfway point of that. And then it's easy to adjust from there. Okay, another model in this book that fits in with a bigger picture are these benchmark tables where you kind of zoom in repeatedly. So you use your regular benchmark numbers table up through 1,000, and then you zoom in, and you're always just using really simple numbers to get closer and closer. And the benefit of this, it fits in with the whole thing, but it's slightly different, because with this type of approach, or with partial numbers, there's partial quotients models. There's several things in here. It gives kids a sense of numbers as whole things. So with all of the books, I really am gearing the books to move students away from thinking of numbers as isolated groups of digits with a whole list of a litany of things to memorize, steps to follow. We're moving away from that into seeing numbers holistically and knowing what they are, how they work, what we're actually doing with this operation, and getting a sense where they're building out their own understanding of how division works, how multiplication works, so that it stretches. So what they do with small numbers stretches to work with those multi-digit numbers. And it's not constantly a choppy set of disjointed ideas, but it really all flows together. And it's the 10 frames and the Rec and Rec that will get them all the way there, from basic counting up through long division. And this is the final book in the series that culminates the process. So this is book 5 in the 5-volume workbook series. And this is the completion of stage 1. Okay, so stage 2 will involve companion guides to every book. And it will be based on video lessons that correlate to every unit in every book. So if students need more of a teacher talking to them, they can get that through the videos. I will say the books are designed to be completely self-explanatory. So all you need are the books. Everything else that I'm going to be doing in this next phase is for anybody who wants to go deeper, or for people who need to kind of go slower through it and get more of an in-person explanation, teacher explanation, or more hands-on practice. Okay, so we'll have complete set of video lessons to go along with everything, complete set of worksheets. So this has worksheets in it as you go, but a lot of it is based on the hands-on practice. So if you get to a section where you just really need to stay there for a bit and practice it more, there will be worksheets just to practice the specific skills in each section more. And with all of these, you'll be able to pick and choose the one you want for the specific unit, or a package deal, all of it all together for the whole book. Then there will be digital activities, which I'm really excited about. I've done 20 or 30 of these already, but I'm going to be going through it consistently so that there's one of these digital activities that matches every unit in the book. And those are, for those of you who know, those are boom cards. They're very interactive, highly engaging online activities. And it has, anyways, it's a really good way for kids to get almost a hands-on feel, if you count hands on a mouse as hands-on feel. But it gives a really good visual for what's actually happening with the math. Okay, so there will be those 3. Then the books currently contain an answer key for the checkups, but I'll be going through and doing a complete answer key for everything in the book. And then I may do interactive quizzes. Initially, I was going to do interactive quizzes that go along with everything, but I think the checkups are doing a good enough job with that. So we'll see how that goes. Then I do plan on, at some point, doing a book 6, which will be on fractions, decimals, percents, to kind of round out the number sense in a complete pre-K through 6th, basically up through pre-algebra curriculum. And then I have some fun ideas for an algebra setup that would be kind of similar, like, it wouldn't be similar. My ideas for the algebra one are to do it a project-based algebra. So everything is in the book would be based on projects that are real life and hands-on. And then geometry, I have a fun idea to do a whole geometry book built around a geoboard. So these are all built around 10 frames in a Reckon Rec. My idea for geometry would be to do built around a geoboard. And beyond that, I still have some fun ideas, but we'll see how far and how quickly I can get. And as always, I love your feedback. So if there's anything at any point that you guys would like to see specifically, please let me know. I've built a lot of features in this already based on feedback, and I would love to do that going forward. If you have any questions, you can drop them here. And this book and all the others are available in the store, as well as some fun handwriting workbooks that I put together that I designed to be especially helpful for anybody working with dyslexic kids. The lines and the way the spaces are set up make it easier to keep track of how your letters are written. You'll see it if you go to the store. And then there's some fun just pages for drawing comics. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Thank you for watching the video, and let me know anytime if you have questions, requests, feedback, comments, anything.